This handheld has one problem. And no, I'm not talking about the light bleed. Yes, that is a problem. But my God, how amazing is it to be able to play beautiful 3DS on this large 7-inch screen that's OLED on top and a 5-inch 4:3 aspect ratio IPS screen on bottom. But that's right. As much as I like this handheld, it still has a huge glaring problem, and that's that it's from Ioneo, a company that, while has made some of the most amazing devices I've used, continues to be mired in production issues, customer service issues, and just plain general business issues. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. But we're going to dive into the Ioneo Pocket DS, a wonderful experience that might even have topped the mighty Thor. But I cannot escape the problem with it. We may not see more of these made, and the support may not be there if you get a bad one. Let's dive in. Do you live with an a-hole? And I'm not talking about another human. I'm talking about a cat. Do you have one of those that just wakes you up in the middle of the night, knocks stuff off whenever they want to? You need the services of Jackson. No, wait. I am not Galaxy Jackson. He's amazing. I could never fix cats. Hey, Deadheads. Welcome back to the channel. Or welcome to the channel for the first time, new Deadheads. Today, we're taking a look at... So let's start with this box, and this is a very nice box. I love the design of this box. We sort of have a mirrored image of the device on here, and we have a prominent Snapdragon logo. Now this is interesting because Snapdragon has recently been removed from the Odin 3, which is now the Dragon Wing or whatever it is. But this is the G3X Gen 2. So this still has the Snapdragon branding on it, and we're not going to get into the whole thing, but this is basically the CPU that we've seen on many other handhelds, including last year's Pocket S and line of that. But this box looks nice. There's not a whole lot to it. On the back, we have our typical Ioneo branding. We do have the label here. We did go with the 12 gig Shadow Black 256 gig model here of Android. Getting the box open, and it's a typical packaging experience for Ioneo. No real surprises here. They always bring a really nice packaging, but as soon as you open it, you're greeted with this nice little layout here. It kind of shows the handheld. This is a nice padding that holds everything in place there. Moving that down, you'll have the handheld. We'll get that out of the way. And then below it, you do have a box here with your extra your cord, and not a lot else in there. This is a very minimalist box, not a lot of fancy stuff going on here, but that's okay because this is an exciting handheld, a dual screen handheld. So let's get this out and let's just talk about our initial first impressions in the hand. And the first thing is this metal. Oh my God, this gorgeous, gorgeous metal lid. It is just a beautiful lid, and something that I don't think I appreciated or really understood when I first saw this. Because I had the Ioneo Flip DS, the Windows handheld that did not have a top like this, I just assumed it was the same. But this is a nice handheld that feels really good. But before we go too much further about this, I want to talk about, yes, the Thor, the other dual screen handheld, not that Amberneck RGDS, the other proper 3DS playing dual screen handheld. Let's talk about the comparison of it. And so what many people are going to want to know is, how does this compare to the Thor physically? And it's obvious that it's bigger because it has bigger screens, both on the top and the bottom. We do have a 7-inch screen on the top for the Pocket DS, which is a full inch bigger than the 6-inch of the Thor. And then on the bottom, we have a 5-inch 4:3 aspect ratio, but it's an LCD IPS. And on the Thor, we do have OLED, but it's that screen that has the Snowcake OLED in it, so it is smaller at 3.92 inches. Well, before we get into the hardware, you may be wondering, because this is a clamshell, what about that hinge? This thing does have a beautiful metal cover on it, something the Thor doesn't have. And I love metal. I think you guys know this. But as we test the hinge out here, it does have a stepless design, a design that allows it to hold its form. So you can put it in just about any position you want, along with that final click. It does click backwards and will hold that position in place. I didn't find that the hinge had any problems. However, with all of these devices, you should be cautious about it, especially for a device that costs upwards of $800 for the retro model. But I found the hinge to work really well. But let's talk about the hardware. Let's test those buttons. So let's talk about the hardware here for a minute. I really love Ioneo's inclusion of the RC and LC buttons. And this handheld, being a dual screen, has triggers. Some people found the Thor triggers to be a little uncomfortable. This being a bit bigger with bigger triggers, I found to be quite comfortable, as you can see here. The button presses are pretty nice with a great actuation. They have a good travel distance to them, and the materials used here are great. I like the way they're spaced out and how they feel. And again, I can't stress enough how much I really enjoy using that LC and R3. These two triggers along with those buttons are in a place that are perfect when holding the dual screen to give me that control. Speaking of control, moving over to the D-pad, and you can see that we have a D-pad that's very reminiscent of the Ioneo Flip DS that we looked at on the channel here about 2 years ago. That's the PC handheld. This D-pad is good. I like it quite a bit. And since it's a clamshell that folds, we have to have a certain type of D-pad here. I think it works really well. As you can see here, it pivots great and it feels wonderful. Moving over to the buttons, and we have really nice Ioneo buttons as usual. They're a nice size, they've got a great travel distance to them, and they're quiet. They don't have a lot of sound to them. They feel like they're somewhat micro switch, but they're probably dome because of the way they feel overall. I like the style they used here, and they work very well, as you can see here. Moving along the bottom of here, we do have our start and select, and then we have some specialized buttons for the dual screen. We have buttons here that allow us to do things like switch modes, along with going to the home screen or box screen. We also have a button that will put us and change the speed of it from turbo. And then we have a fingerprint reader, which is also our power button. And finally, we have a plus and minus button for our speakers. Speaking of which, we have dual bottom firing speakers. At the far end, we have that big Ioneo button that I love from all their devices, along with a return button. Finally, let's talk about these sticks. These are great sticks. I did switch them out here with some of the extra stick caps I got with my portal, my Odin portal. So they do fit those types of sticks. And you can see that they've got a great range of motion here. They also sit just flat enough so that they can close the clamshell. This is a good set of sticks. It feels great, although I do miss the full size of something like you get on an Odin or a Mangmi Pocket Max. But let's move out of the hardware and let's start talking about what this thing can do in the software. So before I get into the Ioneo software, I wanted to feature something today that I've been using that is a really good use case for this. Now, Russ on Retro Game Core recently did a video about this same software, and this software is called Cannoli. I think I like cannolis. I don't know if I've ever had a cannoli, but not like the food. Cannoli is a software that attempts to bring to Android the spirit of Sean Iman's MenuI. Now, it is a minimalistic sort of software. As I show you here, What I love about this software is because we have the dual screens, I am able to very quickly move around the software and have one screen where I have some sort of graphics or I'm looking at Discord or something like that. And on the other screen, I have really quick navigation for my games. It is a minimalist approach. It is not a software that is ever going to have fancy graphics or anything like that. But with the inclusion of the RC button on this and the way that it's set up into holding this, as you can see here, I can very quickly navigate and move between games. It gives me an experience that is just so wonderful. Now, this is an evolving software that's developing and its features are still being tested. There's a Discord you can join, so hit the link below to join it. But Cannoli has become a great software for me. Now, we still have things like Emulation Station Desktop Edition, which just updated today as of the filming of this video. That also brings a great experience on dual screen. In fact, having a dual screen is more than just playing 3DS and 2DS. It's productivity. It's the ability to do several things at once. And INEO has included some standard software here that I love. One of the things, as I show you here, that I love is using three fingers, you can very quickly switch screens and bring things up and down. Now, I think this is an advantage of Thor because, for one, it's a bigger screen, but also it just works really well. I have come to really like INEO's ecosystem and Android development. Now, I'm probably going to get some pushback here because most people probably prefer what AYN has done. And while I love my Thor and I appreciate their ecosystem, I have found that the little touches on this have made this a real joy to navigate. The extra buttons that are found on this device really give it a sort of ability to navigate very quickly. Now, if you can see here, we press a button and you have some granular control here to do many different things on this. For one, I really love the fact that you can separate the screens and you can have top screen only, or you can have bottom screen only. You can have dual screen. You can also have top screen only with mouse mode on the bottom, top screen only with touchpad on the bottom. This gives a lot of versatility to do things that you're not going to be able to do necessarily, especially on the RGDS. But this is not a video about which is better between the Thor or not. This is today the video for the Pocket DS. I also love the INEO button here. As I've stated before in many videos, the ability to very quickly move through many menus and change things like power has gotten even better on a dual screen. As you can see here on the bottom, we have a whole screen filled with things we can do now. We can go to dual screen, we can go to application, we can go to task, and we can go to control. We have so much granular control over here. Now, there's also a set of additional things that people have been working on that make this just such a versatile ecosystem. I have added some utilities that was on a GitHub that I found on Reddit, but I can hold down the LC button. I can hold it down and I will get a keyboard on the bottom called bottom keyboard. I have found this to be very, very good to quickly add a full-size keyboard on the bottom. And this has come in very handy for different reasons. I can quickly hide it, and then I can quickly, again, hold that LC button down so it pops up real quick. Watch as I hide, hold the LC button, it's back, hide, hold the LC button. Now I map this using that utility. There are many more software developments in this that I have learned over time as we use this. But let's stop and talk about just the gaming and how much I enjoy this. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about this, the AM8 dynamic microphone from our friends at Fifine. I have been using Fifine products for a while now. In fact, you might recall that they sent us their gaming headset and I used it for the podcast, the Save State podcast back on Christmas. I found that to be an excellent headset. And now they have sent me a newer, updated version of their AM8 which is an update to a microphone I've been using most recently to record my content. You guys have heard me record content with various different microphones, some of them worse, some better, but the Fifines have always been the ones that have got the best results. And as I'm recording this now on the new AM8, it's a beautiful device. It has a nice, classy look to it that's professional. It also has support for XLR, although I use it through USB. It has a great sound to it, a solid bass, and it comes at a fantastic price. If you're interested in picking one of these up for your gaming sessions, or maybe you want to start your own podcast, click the link below to pick it up. We want to thank our friends at Fifine for supporting the channel and giving us opportunity to use their equipment to help make the great content we bring to you guys. Anyways, back to the show. So, since this is a Snapdragon G3X Gen 2, it has the power to run just about anything. I have had a lot of fun, especially running 3DS games on here, because as we know, the RGDS, while a pretty great DS machine, is not really a 3DS machine. And you do have the Thor, which is also a fantastic 3DS machine. However, this has a proper bottom screen, a 5-inch 4.3 bottom screen, along with a beautiful 7-inch 16:9 screen. And it gives a more, I would say, authentic 3DS experience versus the Thor. I love the Snowcake screen, but again, this is not the video comparing the two, but 3DS on this is just beautiful. Now, it can do almost everything else. Streaming on this thing is great and beautiful. It's going to play game native and Winolator. It's going to do all that like you would expect. It has the power to play, yes, Secret Console and play all the games like that. PS2 looks beautiful. Let's talk a second about Cannoli again, because one of the things that Cannoli has that I love about it is the quick ability to change things on the fly, like the aspect ratio and shaders, some of the shaders they have built in. And putting PS2 on this bottom screen, oh, looks so great. This is a huge 5-inch 4.3 screen. It looks terrific for things like Dreamcast, N64, PS2, all those systems that were born to be used at a 4:3 ratio. And hitting quickly that RC button, which I've mapped it to, or to the sticks, I can quickly cycle through. Playing something like Game Boy or Game Boy Advance, I can make it look gorgeous on this bottom screen and quickly hit a button so that I can just shift through a bunch of different scenarios, sizes, along with some shaders on it. This is software that gives you quick ability. And that is one of the things that I love about this and why I'm preferring this so far overall to the Thor. Now, I will do a video, and my Thor is still my precious. I think the Thor is going to be the take with you sort of dual screen experience, and this is going to be the couch experience for me because it's really good. As I said at the top of the video, the biggest issue with this, besides a little bit of light bleed at the bottom, is the fact that it's made by Ioneo, and we don't know if they're going to make more of them, and they just have such a bad reputation. Some of the people that got this first were, the units weren't working, but I have a unit that works. It's great. I didn't get it on Indiegogo. I didn't get it on their store. I went to AliExpress, and with the recent hike in price, I ended up paying about the same before. So I really thought I did good for that. I really am having a lot of fun with this device. Gameplay on this is great. It doesn't overheat. You have a lot of granular control to change things on the fly to make it like you want. It has the ability to separate the sound, and it sounds great. It's got great speakers. And again, that 7-inch screen on the top, just gorgeous. And that 5-inch 4.3 screen on the bottom makes a big difference. I didn't think it would make that big a difference. In fact, until I used both, I really thought I would have preferred the Thor. But guys, I gotta say, I'm very surprised. I find myself liking this more than I expected. So leave me a comment. I want to know what you think. Overall, is this perfect? Of course not. It's got a lot of problems. It's got some light bleed on the bottom. It's expensive. It comes from a company that's questionable. The customer support is at best terrible. And they do not have a track record of supporting things long term. I don't know what kind of updates this is going to get. That bottom keyboard that I showed you, That's from another developer. And I don't know how many of these are going to get out there so the community grows. Plus, the price is crazy right now. So, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And more people are noticing these devices because of Thor. Thor is the clear winner in this generation, but I think this is wonderful. I really like it. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the iNeo Pocket DS and especially the Cannoli software. Try Cannoli on any Android-based handheld. I think you'll like it. It's really good. And I'm going to do some more stuff on it in videos in the future. Well, anyways, remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones because tomorrow's never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Fred out.